Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is April the 21st, and this is the Denver Business Beat podcast. My name is Arica Netterville, and my host today was Rocky Mountain Community's Bessana Kendig. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
I'm so happy that you were able to make time to come on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for the invite.
Oh, absolutely. My love for the nonprofits. We're beautiful downtown. You can see the gorgeous Capitol building, gorgeous mountains behind us. This view is beautiful. Your offices are incredibly beautiful. And thanks for having us here today. You ready to dive into this interview?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nerves and everything.
No, you worry. You got this. So I always like to start off by asking our guests, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where'd you go to school? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so my story's kind of long and a little bit convoluted, so I'll try to make it short. I was originally born in Guatemala, and I was adopted when I was a baby.
Oh.
So yeah, and it kind of all ties into like my passion for affordable housing in the nonprofit sector. But I was raised by a single mom for 5 years, and then she got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and passed away. And so I've been raised by my aunt and uncle, who I know as mom and dad, and I've been in Colorado since I was 6 years old. And so, yeah, I mean, in relation to Rocky Mountain Communities, I just understand what an important thing it is to have a secure and safe home, and to have the resources and parents and all the things that you need in order to thrive. So that's part of the reason why I'm here at this org. But I went to Columbia College Chicago and studied creative writing.
Wow.
So I have a degree in fiction writing, and I've been working in the homeless support nonprofit sector since I got out of college. I worked at a place called Care for Friends in Chicago, which was basically a soup kitchen, for a couple years as a volunteer coordinator. And then I worked for Gateway Domestic Violence Services, which is a nonprofit in Aurora serving folks who are survivors of domestic violence. Their former name is Gateway Domestic Violence Services. They're now Three Birds Alliance. And Tony, who's my supervisor at Rocky Mountain, he stole me from them. So that's how I came to Rocky Mountain Communities, and I've been here for 4 months now. So it's pretty brand new.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, and I'm super duper excited for your venture into all things here at Rocky Mountain Communities. You were a big part of our first event with the Nonprofit Breakfast Summit back in March. You were actually a speaker, and I hear this year you guys are going to be kind of coming a little bit on the map, so I'm really super duper excited. Maybe when you do the speaking in October, you can actually bring a couple of the folks that you've helped out throughout the year, or someone that's currently being helped. That would be amazing too.
Yeah. We currently have a program with our resident services department that is, we employ peer support folks who know the background of what it feels like to come from a population that is struggling and needing resources, and so we specifically train peer support folks to work with our residents and to sort of bridge some of the gaps. And so definitely, we can think about bringing in a speaker.
That would be great. Sure. Someone that's actually going through it. You know, we do so much hard work, especially you folks in the nonprofit community, to hear the voice of someone that is being helped by that. It'll just go miles and miles and miles. So make sure that you're saving the date for the next Nonprofit Networking Breakfast Summit is October the 17th. It's on a Friday. It'll be at Serendipity Labs from 8 to 11. So we're changing it just by a half hour. We figured that really worked. That time frame was really good last year. Of course, Morgan and Cassie will be our co-hosts, and Philip Brewer with Co-America will still be our breakfast sponsor. So we're going to have a great second event of 2025. And if we got 80 people out last time, maybe we can get 120 out next time. That would be a nice number. A lot of the feedback that we got from the nonprofits were, we made some deals, we used resources, we communicated. I think you even said that you had 3 other groups that were kind of going to work with you for some stuff. So that's all wonderful news. And that's exactly why we made that, is so that nonprofits can come together and network, rely on each other for resources, and the companies that want to work with them or financially provide for them. The reason why I wanted to get that save the date nailed down is so financial sponsors could come in. How amazing would it be if we're able to give every nonprofit that participated a check, even if it's for $50 or $100, just to say, here, go buy some blankets or towels, or use this for printing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that would be so incredible. So now we're going to talk about some of the structure that Rocky Mountain Communities does. Take us from kind of A to Z on the list of services that you folks do supply, and then someone coming into the facility. What does that look like from beginning to end?
Yeah. So it's good that we're talking about this because I'm brand new to the organization. So I've really gone through all the orientations, and so I can talk about most of the sections. It's a very large operation. We've been around for 32 years. So I'm a part of the fund development department, and I'm communications manager. So that means I do all external communications with donors and trying to raise money for our specific programs. We have 10 properties all across Colorado. So we've got a couple properties on the western slope, and we've got 5 Denver Metro, Greeley, Fort Morgan. We're looking to have some properties in Pueblo, so we're just all across Colorado Springs. So it's really amazing that we were able to have that many properties, and we're looking to expand the portfolio, which is really exciting in the next 5 years. And then at each property, we have property management services, which are trauma informed, and we have the properties that we've recently designed are all dignity designed, trauma-informed design. And then we have resident services at 4 of our properties that have peer support folks on the ground available for folks to just drop in and support in any way. And our resident service program has a partnership with Paragon Behavioral Health. And so any sort of resources that our residents need, we have outside partners that help us come in and bring those services to them and match them with the correct things that they need. Because we're not in the business of saying we know how to do everything and we can do it all on our own. It's really community based. So it's about bringing in a whole network of resources for folks.
And I love that you said that magic word, and it's even in the title, communities.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Central to what we
Really
do.
is.
Yeah, for sure. So you're in the headquarters building. So we've got 25 folks that are in the headquarters building, and then everyone else is stationed at the different properties. Yeah, that's sort of the breakdown.
So now, where does it come into food services? Is there pantries? Is there help to offset them? They do all the work to get into a living space, and then what?
Yes. So at each of our properties, especially the property managers in some of the faraway places where we don't have direct peer support, they have donated food that forms pantries for anybody that's in dire need of supports and services. And then we also have outside partnerships. Philo's Kitchen is a new one, and they're amazing. They basically have volunteers from places like, I think the lacrosse DU team came and volunteered to prepare meals, and they're meals that can be frozen. And so our folks won't necessarily have to eat the produce right away. They can freeze them and have them whenever they need them, which is really essential, especially if you've got working moms and people that are just all over the place because their lives are intense. And so Philo's Kitchen is a great partner. We try to partner with community venues that have either donated items or excess items that they want to give, just to help the greater community. And
again, that word is so beautiful. So some of the residents that are coming in have been in real dire straits. Some of those folks maybe have medication responsibilities or mental health issues. What does some of that looks like for someone coming in?
So basically the way that affordable housing works is that a section of, I would say, all of our properties has housing that is specific for folks that make area median income between 30% and 60%.
Okay.
So a lot of our folks just qualify economically because they fall within a bracket.
Yeah.
Now, we know how expensive things are, and these
Sure.
days the average folk is one paycheck away from being homeless.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about that too. But let's talk about that first.
Yeah, so we have a spectrum of folks that we service. Our property in, I think it's Greeley, I don't want to misspeak. One of our properties has it's the Commons in Colorado Springs. Every unit, I think it's 35, is designated to veterans.
Okay.
And so we have, each of the properties is broken up a little bit. Arroyo Village, we partner with the Dolores Project, who it's a shelter for non-binary women and transgender individuals fleeing domestic violence and other types of violence. So we might have 20 to 30 units designated to permanent supportive housing, which is taking people straight out of homelessness.
Sure.
And rehabilitating them that way.
Sure.
Then we have a section or a certain amount of units in each property that is the AMI. So you qualify because you fall within that economic bracket. So that could mean you can pay all the bills, but you don't have any money for rent, right? Of these single moms, people that are just getting out of college, sometimes they don't have funds. Folks that need a little bit more of an affordable housing situation in order to make ends meet.
Sure.
And then we have folks that are all across the mental health spectrum, which is why we partner with Paragon Behavioral Health. We don't turn away folks that have history of addiction, those types of things. Some shelters and places have restrictions about that. That is why it's so important for our property managers to be trauma informed. Yeah. We have all of these. It's not just, oh, you haven't paid your rent, you're gone. We have all these structured steps to figure out how we can work with these diverse populations to make sure that they're represented and that they get second chances when they deserve it and when they need it. And so, yeah, whole spectrum of mental health support is definitely needed.
I love the second chance situation. There was a girl at my last job, and it makes me kind of emotional to talk about it. She came to work every day and she was clean. She had a little girl. She's like, I'm getting my girl dropped off at school. If traffic was late, she'd call. She was really on it. For a week, she'd wear a set of clothes that were always clean and changed. And the next week, almost like the same day, she'd wear the same thing. And that's kind of what got me, maybe she needs some help. So I would be out and about, I'd get a little box of food or a couple bags of clothes, and I would give them to her and say, hey, do you know anybody that needs this? So I wouldn't make her feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And if you know anybody, just pass it to them. Yeah. So finally, after about 3 months of doing that, she comes up to me and she goes, can I talk to you outside about something? I said, sure. She says, I've been on this waiting list for this program, for this housing. Me and my daughter live in my car. And she's like, I come to work every day, I get her dropped off. I belong to a gym where she has free daycare and we both can take a bath. And like all the stuff, and I'm sobbing in the parking lot at my job and listening to her. And what that must feel like every day, because things are so expensive, and I don't want to get emotional. So I took her that day and I just said, let's go to lunch. And I gave her lunch and took care of her lunch. And I said, Saturday, I'm gonna meet you and we're gonna have a beauty day. And I took her and I got her nails done, and I got her another little couple outfits and some stuff for her little girl when she finally told me about her daughter. And took our little daughter with us, and I remember we were at the McDonald's and the little girl was playing in the amusement, the play area. And she's like, Arica, she says, please don't tell anybody at my job. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so, it's such a hard life. And she says, we got accepted, but there's a wait list and we can get in. So I talked with her the other day just via text, just wanted to check on her. She says, we got into the housing, everything is good, and little Shelly has a place to play and safe and go to bed, and there's a locked black rotted gate that they come in and out of for safety, and it broke my heart, but it also made me feel like she did everything she had to do to get to that place for her and her little girl. And you never know what someone is going through standing beside you at the grocery store or at the library or wherever. It's really financially a hard time right now. Things have gotten so exuberant, and costs and rent and everything has just gone up so much. Even the person that has a good job, bringing home 1,000 plus, they're just barely making ends meet. There's no extra left for anything, and I just don't know what we're going to do as a human race, as a civilization, if we keep going in this direction. The amount of homelessness is going to amplify over the next 5 years. Yes. To unattainable help.
Yes.
We're inundated here in Denver, and you see someone that's on the street and you drive beside them, or you're sitting at the crosswalk, and they're so agitated and so, almost violent in their way. And if I had no choice at all, I could see getting upset, and then that leading into mental health issues. So just please have kindness and understand that just a couple paychecks missed, that could be me or you or any of us. I just, really want to tell you that you just can't walk away from a job now. You've got to make sure you got things lined up with your bills and things like that, because you could try to plan as just an everyday working person in an apartment, and before you know it, you've mismanaged or didn't do the time right, and you could be sleeping in that car for a week or two until you can, wait for that next check. So I just want to applaud everything that you guys are doing for our communities of Colorado, because you're so far and so in between of everything. What made you want to do nonprofit work?
I've always been a helper and a nurturer. I've always wanted to make a positive impact in the world. And starting out studying creative writing, I wanted to tell stories. And when you think about storytelling, specifically the memoirs and the real stories, just like the one you just gave us, that anecdote was beautiful. The power in those stories, and wanting to get closer to those people, and then wanting to be able to help. And I started out wanting to be a teacher. I taught at the Chicago High School for the Arts for almost 5 years as a teaching artist in creative writing. And so that's also a selfless job. Lots of teachers know that it is so hard. So I think there's just something in my spirit that's just ready to do the hard work for other people. And I've got that feeling of like karma's taking care of me too, because I'm trying to, what goes around comes around in a beautiful sense. So yeah, that's one of the reasons.
The first time I met you at the chamber, I was sitting next to you and we're just laughing and talking and networking and visiting. And then maybe like 10-15 minutes later, after first meeting you, this wave of energy, warm blanket, love, warm fuzzies kind of came over me, and I was like, God, she's such a good person. And I kept my mind's eye on you, and the same thing with you, as very similar to me. I do believe in reincarnation and enlightenment and manifestation and manipulation of energy, and that's where, just like you, I've gotten to where I'm at now. And there's always been this hand, there's always been this energy, there's always been this reach out that says, I got you, you just keep doing the good stuff, and I will put that in your good stuff bank account for you.
Yes, you'll be taken care of.
Yeah, I really, really do agree with you on that. So, any upcoming big events, functions, things that we want to talk about that you folks got going on?
Yeah. So we have a couple. The most recent one is the Golf for the Future campaign.
Okay.
I'm trying to get sponsors and folks that just love to play golf and want to play golf for a good cause to come out. It's on June 11th. It's at Green Valley Ranch Golf Course.
Oh, okay. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, all the proceeds are going to fund our initiative called Building the Future of Development, which includes supporting 75 students in different areas of development. So we're going to have 2 paid interns here at Rocky Mountain Communities. We're going to have 60 high school junior and senior students in boot camp kind of workshops, learning about real estate, how development works, how properties are managed, affordable housing, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, and then we're gonna have a group of folks, I might have done the math wrong, 10, 15, who are going to be in the Next Gen Academy, which is in partnership with Project Destined and Housing Partnership Network. And they're going to be able to meet powerful leaders who are developers. Mark Marshall, our CEO, is gonna be one of the instructors. And they're just gonna make lots of really good connections and understand why affordable housing is the future and really, really important to save society in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's not just poor people, it's not just homeless anymore. Everybody is being affected by tariffs. Everybody's being affected by inflation. Everybody's been affected by housing costs. It's everybody now. So we are all in this together. Some other events we got coming up?
Oh yes, and then the celebration dinner on October 23rd, it's a Wednesday. That's our big inaugural event, and it's going to be at the Seawall Ballroom DCPA this year. We're really excited. It's going to be a silent auction, a paddle raise. We're going to have a huge award ceremony, so we're going to give Housing Innovator Awards, Leadership Awards, Champion Awards from our communities. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Maybe the Denver Business Beat could come and film live.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Yes, we're making all the connections.
Yes, I love this that we're doing this now, because this is going to play over to our viewers for the next 6 to 8 weeks until that event comes up, so people will continuously, hear those dates that you just talked about. Anybody wanting to get involved, definitely you want to reach out. So we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about where they can find all of the handles, websites, all of the details to get to you folks.
Yeah, so our website has everything somehow connected to it. So if you don't remember anything else, RockyMountainCommunities.com.org.
Okay. I would think it's .org.
Is where you can go. Rocky Mountain Communities, we're on YouTube, we're on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably our biggest following and where you can get the most up-to-date professional information about all of our events. We have a blog on our website that I'm in charge of as a creative writer. I was very excited.
Yes, excited to be able to do some writing.
Tell some stories. We're going to do some spotlights of resident services, some main players from our timeline of 32 years. Upcoming developments. We have one in Globeville, so we're really excited about those things.
Is there an information line telephone number if they wanted to call for any details?
Yes, I don't have it memorized, but it is on our website.
Okay, perfect. And then your handle's on LinkedIn if people want to connect with you and talk with you and all that good stuff.
Yep, just my name, Bessana Kendig. I think they're BESSANAKENDIG.
Yay! And now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about little 15-year-old Bessana.
Okay.
You knew this was coming.
I knew this question was coming.
So if you went back to your 15-year-old self and said, hey, I want to talk to you and get you prepared for where you're at right now, what would be the thing that you would say to little Bessana?
I would tell her that to be patient. I think everything falls into place as it needs to, and that big changes are coming. But it's okay because they're gonna make you stronger, they're gonna make you grow, and I've always been a survivor, and you can get through it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then we're gonna switch gears, going to your 75-year-old self. What would be the legacy that you'd wanna leave for your colleagues, your business relations, your friends, and your family?
Well, my first thought, when I think about this question, is I want there to be a relationship legacy where I have connections out the wazoo. My mom is the type of person that can make connections at the grocery store waiting in line to pay for her groceries. She's not gonna die anytime soon, I hope, but my mom, Beth, when she passed away, everyone and their mother's gonna be at the funeral. So I feel like my legacy in terms of relationship building is I just want to have a wide connection of amazing people in and around and surrounding me. In terms of professional legacy, this has nothing to do with Rocky Mountain Communities, but I'm writing a book. It's a young adult novel about a young girl who has connections to her Maya upbringing, and it incorporates a lot of Guatemalan history and mythology, and I would like to publish it, and I would like to get some of that history back into the minds of Americans and people across the world, because Maya and Guatemalan history is not well known. So I think if I think about my one project, that's my project right now, my legacy project.
I think it's a very obtainable project. I think that you would be the voice for little brown girls that need that in their lives. And, you know, some of the horrible things that we've seen the last few months since the new administration, it's not been kind to people. It's not been kind to Hispanic, Latino, Cuban, Guatemalan, Venezuelan, African American, Native American. We've all been affected by the cruelty. I'm Cherokee Indian, and we can't even get clean water on the land that our ancestors were born on. And the cruelty that we've endured as Indians in our lifetime, as well as other ethnicities have experienced, has been horrific. And I think that America is being tested right now. These 4 years put a taste in everyone's mouth. Even the people that voted for this are now saying, what the hell did we do? I think this is going to prep us for the future so that this never happens again. And maybe this was the last little jig of bigotry and hatred and discrimination and ugliness that we as the American people had. It festered like a huge pimple, and everybody was, you know, putting it in. And then when they realized what they were doing and how this came about, and the pimple busted, and all there is felons and mismanagement and low classity of every kind of ugliness and discrimination, and now everybody is seeing it for what we've got ourselves into. There's a great analogy that you can look up on social media. It is a crab or a lobster. Its hands are rubber band, and it's walking off the counter into the boiling pot of water, and it jumps in. That's what we as American people did to ourselves. And maybe we had to be boiled to realize, I never want to experience this again. And I'm not just talking about Democrats. I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats and non-bipartisans have all felt all of the ugliness that we've gone through. And it's so beautiful to see the last couple weeks of protest throughout major cities. Denver, I am so very proud of you that we're just not going to take it. We're not going to accept it. And if that administration pushes us too hard, what are we as the American people going to do? And that could be civil war, impeachment, whatever it's going to take to get that regime out of office. And then all of the other countries all over the world are just looking at us like the laughing stock. And this affects everything in magnitudes, everything 50 over from low cost everything being amplified to where it's unattainable and unaffordable. There is no more reasonable cost living. It's hard to see that even apartment complexes all jacked up by $1,500, some increased by $800, $500 dollars monthly. as soon as all this started happening, and the amount of evictions in Denver in the last 6 months has been atrocious. I'm sure that your organization has just been completely reached upon daily. Please help, we're in dire straits.
Yeah, I always like to think, and like I feel like one of the themes of this episode so far has been resiliency and surviving. There we go, I can speak. And I like to think that, you know, the parties and anything political is not related to being a good person. And I really think that we have the ability to be resilient and to bounce back when we can.
Yeah.
I have a friend, a coworker, and this is just to kind of paint the sort of picture of what Rocky Mountain Communities and our staff is like, but she's our executive assistant. Her name's Rebecca, and she bakes bread. She bakes bread for everybody. I think she does it a little bit therapeutically, but she bakes bread, and she said she was on the way to work the other day, and she was like, I really need to stop baking bread. And she stopped at this stop sign, and she saw this guy, and he's outside with a sign. He's homeless, he needs resources. And she was gonna give her bread to one of our coworkers, but was like, no, this guy needs this bread. So she rolls down her window, says, come here. He takes the bread and gets back up on his stoop, but he's holding the bread and holding the sign, and she's still waiting at the stop sign, and she's like, smell the bread. So he opens up and smells this amazing smell of bread and just immediately buries his face in it. And it's that moment, back to storytelling, where it's those moments of kindness, those moments where we just realize somebody needs help, and it can be anything. It can be a loaf of bread for a day. It can be the smell of bread, that smell of I'm at home, someone's taking care of me, there's a nurturing person. I know, she cries every time she tells me this.
We're not gonna do this today, Bessana. We're not gonna do this.
Yes, but it's like, those are the type of people that I work with, and I think that's why I'm part of the nonprofit sector, to be entirely honest. It's the people that are baking bread and giving it through their window for people that really just need to smell a little bit of hope. So I just wanted to add that. There's a lot of darkness out there, but there's light too.
I think you're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
I think your book is going to be phenomenal. I think your career in the nonprofit is going to be everywhere and everything that you want it to be in every place. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to say forever with anything, because where you're going and what you're doing is beautiful, and you deserve every accolade for the love of other human beings and the kindness that's within you. And it's a beautiful thing to see, and it's a rarity, especially in our day-to-day hustle and bustle of life. And we drive by those people holding those signs, and we go home and we eat our dinner and we hug our kids and our dogs, and when you're sitting there eating, do you think about the guy that's standing there in the snow that you drove past an hour ago, and what's he eating? Who hugs him? When does he get a hug? When does he get kindness shown to him? So it's very important to be kind and to be compassionate. And if you've went out to dinner and you have a doggy bag, just stop and give that to that person standing there. It goes miles and miles and miles. A hot container of food on a cold, rainy day. There's nothing else better. It's the smallest amount that you can do. If you have an extra $5, give it to them and help them and try. And don't be cruel if they're standing close to your corner. That person needs your love and kindness as well.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a powerful, magical show it's been today. We've had tears, we've had storytelling, we've had beautiful views and vistas of downtown. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Arica Netterville. I'm your host, and I am overwhelmed by the amount of support and love and viewership and all the incredible things that are going on behind the scenes that you don't know of right now. Wednesday is going to be a pretty powerful episode. I'm just going to leave it at that. It is going to be changing the trajectory of this podcast instantaneously. And And I'm going to make a commitment to you to stay humbled in it, as I have done so for the entire 6 months that this program has been going. I've maintained my full-time job. I'm doing networking events, nonprofit events, and bringing nonprofit folks on our show to give them a platform and a voice, and I will continue to do that good work in the name of my mother. A couple days ago was her year anniversary of her passing, and it was a hard day. It was a very hard day. I just kept thinking about her all day. Of course, I had to work. And she was with me. I felt her energy. The day she died, I had to work that day, and I was sitting at the stoplight. And someone's balloons went across in the sky. Big, huge Mylar balloons, hearts and then little hearts. And every day for this year, every couple days, every couple weeks, couple times a month, just the other day, this beautiful Mylar balloon came by, and I'm like, there's Mom. She sends me balloons to remind me that she loves me, and she's here, and she's watching, and she's protecting, and I love you, and I miss you, and everything that I'm doing that's good in this world is because of you, including this show, including sitting next to this phenomenal human being that's just gonna blow us away in the next 5 years. She's gonna be an author, and the kindness in your heart is gonna propel you to places that this has been our show today, ladies and gentlemen. My beautiful guest, Bessana Kendig with Rocky Mountains Communities. Please log on to their LinkedIn and their website and follow